I died on a wet highway. Truck, impact, glass in my face, smell of gasoline and blood. The last thought was stupid. Just let it not hurt. It didn't hurt. It was dark, then cramped, then cracking. The shell cracked from the inside, and I felt cold air on skin I never had. I hatched, not as a human, not as a hero, as a snake. Small, black, with a pattern on my back resembling lightning. I lay on cold stone, covered in sticky slime, trying to understand where my hands were. There were no hands, no legs either. But there was a long body that moved in waves when I tried to push off from the floor, and there was a tongue that forked at the end and sensed smells. The smell was disgusting: dampness, mold, blood, and something burnt. I opened my eyes. Around me was a basement, stone walls, torches on the walls, cages of rusty iron, bones in the corner, many bones, not all human. And next to me lay 3 more shells. Empty, cracked, but no one alive. Only me. I tried to stand and realized that standing for a snake means simply raising your head. My head rose. And at that moment, something like a switch clicked in my brain, and a menu appeared before me. Transparent, glowing, like in a game. But this was not a game. Snake Lineage Evolution System. Status: Activated Bearer. Nameless race: Black Snake, lowest rank. Level: 1. Evolution points: 0 out of 10. Available skills: none. Warning: you are weak, you are prey. The last line burned red. I didn't have time to think about it, because somewhere upstairs a door slammed and footsteps began pounding down the stairs. Heavy, confident. Voices. How many hatched this time? Don't know, let's go check. If at least one survived, we'll sell it to the guild. They pay well for black ones. Guild? Sell, I'm merchandise. The footsteps were approaching. The system blinked again, now yellow. Primary choice available. 1 starter skill, choice of 3. 3 cards appeared before my eyes. 1. Venomous Bite, level 1. Poison, paralysis 5 seconds. 2. Agility, level 1. Speed plus 30%. Evasion. 3. Hard Scales, level 1. Defense plus 20%. I didn't think long. If they catch me, armor won't help. If they see me, speed won't save me, but if I can bite at the right moment, I chose the first. Skill acquired, Venomous Bite, level 1. Effect: paralysis 5 seconds, damage 3 hit points per second. Cooldown 8 seconds. The door below creaked. Torchlight hit my eyes. 2 descended into the basement, 1 fat in a leather apron. Hunter or butcher. Smelled of sweat and blood. The second thin in a cloak. In his hand a long metal pole with a loop at the end. Snake trap. The fat one squatted by the shells and kicked one with his foot. Empty, stillborn again. The thin one walked around the cages and froze. Looked in my direction. I lay motionless, curled in a ball by the wall, hoping they'd take me for dead. But the system didn't let me lie to myself. Enemy detected, Hunter, level 4. Enemy detected, Beast Trader, level 3. Chance of victory, 2% recommendation, flee. The thin one leaned closer. Hey, there's one alive here. The fat one turned around. Really or really? Black. Look, pattern on the back. This is a rare line. The fat one approached, examining me like an object. How much will they give for her? If we deliver her alive, 50 gold minimum. Maybe more if the guild wants to breed. The thin one raised the pole with the loop and slowly reached toward me. I tensed. The system blinked. First kill unlocks. Evolution tree. Hybrid branches, bearer system. Kill, not victory. Kill. The loop descended on my neck. I jerked. The thin one tightened the loop. Got you, creature. I was lifted into the air. My body writhed helplessly. I tried to break free, but the loop was choking me. The fat one came closer, examining. Vicious. Good sign. They buy vicious ones more eagerly. The thin one smirked and brought me to his face. Don't worry, soon you'll be sitting in a cage and... I didn't listen. I did what all snakes do when held by the neck. I lunged forward and sank my fangs into his wrist. Venomous Bite activated. The poison flowed into his blood instantly. The thin one howled and dropped the pole. I fell to the floor but didn't run. Because I understood. If I run, they'll just catch me again. I needed to finish this. The system blinked green. Target poisoned. Remaining 4 seconds until paralysis. The thin one grabbed his arm, turned pale. What the... The fat one rushed to him. What happened? Poison? His legs gave out. He collapsed to his knees. The fat one backed away, drawing a knife. Get away from her. But I was faster. While he was looking at the thin one, I slid across the floor, circled around his side, and sank my fangs into his calf. Venomous bite activated. The fat one screamed, kicked me with his foot. I flew to the wall, but the poison was already working. Both people lay on the stone, twitching. Paralysis held them. The system exploded with notifications. Kill Beast Trader. Kill Hunter. Plus 15 evolution points. Level increased, 1 to 3 unlocked, evolution. Tree unlocked, hybrid branches unlocked. Function, bearer. I lay by the wall, breathing heavily. For the first time in my new life, I felt not fear, hunger. The system showed a new menu and it made me feel cold. Evolution tree. Choose first branch. A. Spitter Cobra ranged poison, poison spit. B. Viper tank reinforced scales, counterattack. C. Grass snake shadow stealth, soundlessness. D. Python bonebreaker suffocation, crushing strength. Secret branch. Requirement, absorb human blood. A red line burned at the bottom. Warning, choice is irreversible. Hybrids unlock after second evolution. I looked at the two corpses, at their blood on the floor, and understood. If I want to survive in this world where I'm sold like merchandise, I need the most dangerous branch. I crawled to the nearest corpse and touched his blood with my tongue. The system howled. Blood absorption confirmed. Secret branch activated, Naga parasite unlocked. And at that moment, the door upstairs opened again. Silhouettes appeared on the stairs. Many. A voice, cold and female. Someone killed my traders. Find that creature. Alive or dead, I don't care. But if it's a black one, bring me its poison. Footsteps. Dozens of footsteps. I'm a level 3 snake. Against an entire guild. But now I have a system and a secret branch, which means there's a chance. Footsteps thundered down the stairs like a hammer on an anvil. I lay by the wall, still covered in the blood of the slain, and for the first time in my new life understood. Snakes don't run, snakes hide, or attack. The system blinked before me with a new window, as if it knew what I was thinking. Function bearer activated. Description, mark a living creature. It will become your servant. Limitation, target must be weaker than you by level or be near death. Effect, you receive 10% of all evolution points earned by the bearer. Cost, 5 evolution points per mark. I had 15 points. I could mark 3, but first I needed to find at least 1. The door below burst open, 5 burst inside, 4 in leather armor with short swords and nets, 1 in a hood with a staff. Mage, thin with tattoos on his neck. His eyes glowed dull green. He waved his staff and the torches on the walls flared brighter. All corners of the basement were illuminated. I had nowhere to hide. One of the hunters saw me first, there, by the wall. Everyone turned. The mage raised his staff and a sphere of green fire lit up on its end. Don't move, I'll freeze her. He began chanting a spell. The system howled red. Warning, magical attack. Damage, 40 HP. Your health, 25 HP. Result, death. I couldn't run, couldn't dodge, but I could do one thing. I activated a new skill that unlocked with the Naga Parasite branch. Nest Mark. The system showed me everyone in the room as targets. 4 hunters level 5, 6, 5, 7, mage level 9. All higher than me. All unavailable for marking. But in the corner behind the cages, I sensed another presence. Weak, barely alive, human. He lay behind bars, hunched over, thin, dirty, in torn clothing. The system displayed his parameters. Target, slave, dying, level 2. Health, 4 out of 30. Status, hunger, disease, exhaustion. Available for marking, yes. The mage finished the spell. The green sphere rushed toward me. I lunged sideways, but the magic was faster. Cold struck my side and my body seemed to freeze like ice. 20 HP. Health, 5 over 25. I fell. The hunters rushed toward me with nets. I had 3 seconds. I twisted my whole body, lunged not toward the exit but toward the cage. Jump, sliding across the floor. I slipped between the bars. The cage was old, the grate was loose. Inside lay the slave. He opened his eyes cloudy, barely alive. Saw me. and wasn't afraid, just looked, as at another part of the nightmare his life had become. "Another creature," he wheezed. "Fine, bite. I don't care anymore." I didn't bite. I touched his hand with my tongue and activated the mark. Nest mark activated. Target, human, slave, level 2. Cost, 5 points. Confirmation, yes/no. I confirmed. Points were deducted instantly, and something inside me seemed to click like a lock. The slave jerked. His eyes flashed not with light, but with awareness. He sat up sharply, looked at me, and I saw in his gaze what hadn't been there a second ago. Submission. Not fear, not anger. Submission. As if inside his head someone had rewritten priorities. "Master," he whispered hoarsely. "What do you command?" The hunters ran up to the cage. One barked, "Hey, you, get away from the snake!" The slave didn't move. He looked at the hunter as if he were empty space. I said, "Get away!" The hunter struck the bars with his sword. The slave slowly stood. His movements were weak, his hands trembled, his legs barely held. But there was fire in his eyes. The mage frowned. What's wrong with him? He was at death's door. The slave suddenly grabbed the rusty chain they'd used to shackle him to the wall and yanked. The chain gave way, the fastening was rotten. The slave swung and struck the hunter across the face with the chain. The blow was weak, but unexpected. The hunter recoiled, and at that moment the slave lunged forward, pushed him, and snatched the sword right from its sheath. Everything happened in 3 seconds. The hunter fell. The slave stood with the sword in trembling hands. The mage raised his staff. "Kill him!" The other hunters moved forward, but I was already acting. I crawled out of the cage, circled around one hunter's legs, and sank my fangs into his ankle. Venomous bite activated. The hunter howled and collapsed. The second swung his sword at me, but the slave rushed forward and struck him with the hilt in the throat. The hunter wheezed and slumped. Bearer killed. Hunter plus 6 points. Your share plus 0.6. The mage cursed and began chanting a new spell, Fiery. But the slave was closer. He threw the chain. The chain wrapped around the staff and the mage jerked, trying to tear it free. The slave didn't let go. He yanked toward himself. The mage stumbled, fell to his knees. The slave ran up and struck him with the sword in the chest. The blow was crooked, weak, but accurate. The mage wheezed, tried to say something, and went limp. Bearer killed, mage, level 9, plus 18 points, your share plus 1.8. The slave stood, breathing heavily. The sword fell from his hands. He dropped to his knees. Looked at me. "Master, did I fulfill?" The system exploded with notifications. Level increased 3 to 4. Received 17.4 evolution points. Total points 27.4. Bearer slave level 2 to 4. Bearer condition critical, requires food/healing. I crawled to him. He extended his hand and I coiled around his wrist. For the first time in my new life, I felt not cold, warmth. He was mine, not a friend, not an ally, a tool, and he would kill for me. The slave looked at the corpses. "What next, master?" I looked at the door upstairs. There was the guild. There were hunters. There was an entire city that traded snakes as merchandise. But now I had a human and a system. I mentally opened the evolution tree and chose the next goal. Branch Naga Parasite. Next level. Control Bite ability to give orders to bitten target. 3 commands, duration 10 minutes. Cost 20 points. I had 27. I invested the points. Skill acquired, Control Bite. Now I could bite an enemy and make them a temporary slave. The slave stood, swaying. "Master, upstairs." "There are many." I looked at him, and a plan was born in my head. "We won't run. We'll gather. Each bitten one a new servant, each servant new points, each point's a new form. I'm a snake, but soon I'll become something greater. I'll become a swarm." The slave picked up the sword. I coiled around his neck like a scarf. We went to the stairs. The guild awaited upstairs. But they didn't know yet. The hunter had become the prey. The staircase was narrow, stone, wet with dampness. The slave climbed slowly, holding onto the wall. Each step came with difficulty. His body was exhausted, but the mark held him on his feet stronger than any will. I coiled around his neck, feeling how his pulse beat. Fast, uneven. He was afraid, but he walked. Because I commanded. At the top was a door oak bound with iron. Light seeped from under it and voices could be heard. How many of them down there? 5 went in. No one came out. The mage too? And the mage. Silence. Then a female voice, cold as ice on morning glass. So there's something strong there. Close the exit. Let it die of hunger. But, Lady Terra, our people are there. Were. Now there's a corpse and the creature that made it. Seal the door. If no one comes out in 3 days, we'll burn the basement with her in it. I froze. The system blinked. Warning, threat level, elite enemy detected. Terra, head of the Beast Hunters Guild level, 15 class, Tamer. Trait, animal control, poisons, traps. Level 15, I'm 4th. The difference is an abyss, but I had what she didn't. I was not a beast. I was reincarnated, with a system, and with a human brain that knew how to deceive. The slave stopped at the door, awaiting orders. I hissed to him mentally. The mark transmitted not words, but intentions. Open the door. Say everyone is dead. Say you alone survived. Fall. Pretend to be wounded. The slave nodded. He raised a trembling hand and pushed the door. It swung open. Beyond it was a corridor, long, with torches on the walls. Cages on both sides, beasts sat in them. Wolves, lynxes, bear cubs, one small dragon the size of a cat with severed wings. They all looked at us with empty eyes. Tamed, broken. At the end of the corridor stood her, Terra, tall, black hair to her shoulders, leather armor studded with small Fangs trophies. In her hands a long whip with bone spikes at the end. Behind her 6 hunters, all with nets and swords. Terra saw the slave and narrowed her eyes. You? Her voice was like a knife strike in the silence. You should have died a week ago. The slave fell to his knees, breathing hoarsely. Everyone's dead? Down there? Snake? She... Where is she? Don't know. I ran... She... Terra stepped forward, raising the whip. You ran? From a level 3 snake? She struck. The whip cracked in the air and descended on the slave's back. The slave cried out and fell face down. I huddled on his neck, hiding under the collar of his torn shirt. Terra leaned down. You're lying. You're hiding something. She grabbed the slave by the hair and jerked his head back, exposing his neck. And saw me. Our gazes met. Her eyes widened. Black, she whispered. You're here. She reached out to grab me. I lunged, not back. Forward, right at her face. She reacted instantly, recoiled, swung the whip. The whip wrapped around my body and jerked back. I fell to the floor. The hunters rushed forward with nets, but the slave was faster. He lunged forward, grabbed the nearest by the leg, and bit, with his teeth, like a beast. The hunter howled, struck him with the sword hilt on the head. The slave flew aside, but had already latched on. Blood flowed down his lips. The system blinked. Bearer attacks. I took advantage of the confusion. The whip still held me, but Terra was distracted by the slave for a moment. I twisted, opened my jaws, and sank my teeth into the leather whip. Venomous bite activated? Poison soaked the leather. Not lethal, but enough for Terra to feel burning, and instinctively unclenched her fingers. The whip fell. I slipped out. Terra cursed and drew a short knife. Take her alive. But if you can't kill her? The hunters rushed forward. I lunged not toward the exit, but toward the cages. One of them was broken, the lock dangled on one hinge. Inside sat a wolf. Old. Scars on his muzzle. One eye cloudy, but alive. The system displayed, target, wolf, tamed, level 6. Status, exhaustion, suppression, broken will. Available for marking, yes. I jumped into the cage. The wolf didn't even growl, he just looked. As at another mockery of fate, I touched his paw with my tongue and activated the mark. Nest mark activated. Target, wolf, level 6. Cost, 5 points. Confirmation, yes. Yes, points were deducted. The wolf jerked. His cloudy eye flashed. He rose, slowly. But strength appeared in his movements that hadn't been there a second ago. The hunters ran up to the cage. One pulled out a net. The wolf growled and struck the bars with his paw. The bars, rusty and old, collapsed along with the hunter. The wolf jumped. Fangs sank into the throat. Bearer killed. Hunter, level 5. Plus 5 points. Your share, plus 0.5. The second hunter swung his sword, but the slave, bleeding, threw himself on his back and dug into his eyes with his fingers. The hunter screamed. The wolf turned and finished him with one bite. Bearer killed, hunter, level 6. Plus 6 points. Your share, plus 0.6. 4 remained, plus Tara. She stood at the end of the corridor, teeth clenched. Are you idiots? It's just a snake. She raised her hand and green smoke sprayed from her palm. Magic. Smoke filled the corridor instantly like fog. I smelled it bitter, acrid. The system howled. Warning, poison in the air. Effect, weakness, slowdown damage, minus 2 HP per second. The wolf growled and backed away. The slave coughed, fell to his knees. Tara stepped forward through the smoke. Her skin didn't react. Immunity. You're a clever creature, she said, looking at me. But not that much. She waved her hand and the smoke condensed, wrapping around the wolf like ropes. The wolf jerked, tried to break free, but the smoke compressed harder. The slave tried to stand, but his legs gave out. Tara came closer, raised the knife. I'll take your poison, your blood, your scales, and sell them in parts. She threw the knife, right at me. I didn't have time to dodge, but I had time for something else. I activated the last available skill, the one that unlocked with the 4th level. Molting, level 1. Effect. Shed upper layer of skin. Gain plus 50% speed for 3 seconds. My skin burst. I slipped out of it like from a stocking. The knife pierced the empty skin, and I lunged forward right under Tara's feet. She tried to jump back, but I was faster. I coiled around her ankle and sank my fangs. Venomous bite activated. Control bite activated. Poison flowed into her blood, and with it the mark. Not permanent, temporary. But for 10 minutes she was mine. Tara froze. Her eyes widened. What? You... I gave the first command. Release the wolf. Her hand jerked, against her will. She unclenched her fingers and the green smoke dissipated. The wolf collapsed to the floor, breathing heavily but alive. Second command? Order the hunters to surrender. Tara groaned, clenched her teeth, trying to resist, but the mark was stronger. Lay down. Your weapons, she wheezed. The hunters froze. My lady? I said lay them down. They exchanged glances, but obeyed. Swords and nets fell to the floor. I gave the third command, the last. Open all the cages. Tara walked along the corridor, opening locks one after another. Cages swung open, beasts crawled out. Wolves, lynxes, bear cubs. The small dragon. All looked at me. Waited. The system blinked. Available multiple marking. Cost 5 points per creature. Total creatures 12. Your points 17.1. Not enough, but I didn't need all of them. I needed the strongest. I marked 3. Wolf level 6, lynx level 5, bear level 7. 15 points. Marks fell on them like seals, their eyes flashed. They stood and looked at the hunters. I didn't give a command. Didn't need to. They remembered who kept them in cages. The wolf growled. The lynx pressed her ears flat. The bear stood on his hind legs. The hunters paled. One tried to run. The bear caught him in 3 strides. The others didn't try. A minute later, the corridor was quiet. Only heavy breathing of beasts and dripping blood. The system exploded with notifications. Bearer killed, hunter, level 5. Times 4. Level increased, 4 to 5. Level increased, 5 to 6. Received 34 evolution points. Total points, 36.1. I looked at Tara. She stood, teeth clenched, trembling with rage and helplessness. Control was ending. 1 more minute and she'd be free. I could kill her. But then I'd lose what I needed more than her death. Information. I activated a new skill that unlocked at the 6th level. Blood Contract. Effect, conclude a permanent mark with target's consent, or when target is in critical condition. Limitation, target must be sentient. I crawled to her and sank my fangs into her wrist. Not deep, symbolically. The system asked a question. Conclude blood contract? Target, Tara, level 15. Cost, 20 points. Effect, complete submission. 15% experience transfer. Access to target skills. Confirmation, yes/no. I confirmed. Points were deducted. Tara cried out. A black pattern flashed on her wrist, similar to mine. Snake mark. She fell to her knees, clutching her chest. What did you do? I released her. Control ended, but the mark remained. She looked at me. Her eyes no longer held rage, only understanding. You're not a beast, she whispered. You're something else. I coiled around her arm. The wolf slave and other bearers came closer. Pack, number, nest. Tara slowly stood, looked at the corpses of her people, then at me. What do you want? I gave a mental command and she heard. This city, this guild, everyone who sells beasts. She smirked bitterly. You want to take over the guild? Yes? She shook her head. You're insane. But she looked at the mark on her arm. Now it doesn't matter. She stepped toward the exit. Come, I'll show you what we have in storage. If you want evolution, there's something interesting there. I followed her. The pack walked behind. The corridor led us to a large hall. In the middle, cages, tables with instruments, chains, and along the walls, shelves. On the shelves, vials, hundreds of vials with blood, poison, scales, claws, materials. The system howled. Discovered evolutionary material storage. Available for absorption, 47 units possible improvements, plus 12 levels, hybrid branch unlocking, evolution acceleration. Tara approached one of the shelves and took a vial with dark liquid. This is basilisk blood, rare. 1 dose costs a fortune. She held it out to me. If you drink it, you'll unlock the Stone Gaze branch. I looked at the vial, then at the system. Evolution Tree Current Branch, Naga Parasite, Level 2. Available for unlocking, Spitter Cobra, 20 points. Python Bonebreaker, 20 points. Hybrid, Basilisk, requires basilisk blood. I coiled around the vial and shattered it with my teeth. Liquid spilled on the floor. I licked it with my tongue. The taste was vile, like rotten meat and rust. But the system didn't lie. Absorbed basilisk blood. Hybrid branch unlocked, basilisk. Skill available, Stone Gaze, level 1. My body shuddered, scales darkened, eyes became heavier. I looked at the wall and activated the skill. Stone cracked. Tara whistled. Fast learner. She took 3 more vials. Here's dragon blood, hydra poison, and ice serpent scales. If you eat all 3, you'll become a chimera. I didn't refuse. The next 10 minutes I drank, ate, absorbed. The system crackled with notifications. Level 6 to 9. Branch unlocked, hydra. Branch unlocked, ice serpent. Hybrid available, chimera. My body grew. Scales became thicker, fangs longer, tail split. I was no longer a small snake. I was a monster. Tara watched me with wariness and admiration. You really will become something terrifying, won't you? I looked at her. She lowered her head. Command Master, I gave an order. Gather all guild members. Say you have a new partner. She nodded. Left the hall. I remained surrounded by my pack. Wolf, lynx, bear, slave, Tara, 5. But there would be more soon. Because in this world, fangs aren't valued. Chains are valued. And I had just learned to forge them. Tara returned half an hour later. People followed her. 23 people, hunters, trainers, traders, 1 alchemist in a dirty apron, and even a blacksmith with burns on his hands. All members of the Beast Hunters Guild. They entered the hall and froze. Because in the middle of the hall, on a pile of corpses of their comrades, lay me. 3 meters long, black scales with a purple sheen, split tail, eyes glowed dull yellow. Nearby a wolf the size of a calf, a bear with a bloody muzzle, a lynx licking its paw, and a thin slave with a sword in his hands. Tara stood beside me, raised her hand showing the black mark on her wrist. From this moment, she said in an even voice, the guild has a new leader. Silence. Then someone in the back chuckled. A hunter. A big guy with an axe on his back. Have you lost your mind, Tara? It's just a snake. Tara didn't answer. She looked at me. I gave her a mental command. She nodded. Rex, come here. The big guy frowned but stepped forward. What? Closer. He approached. Tara grabbed his arm and jerked it down sharply. Rex didn't have time to react. I lunged. My fangs sank into his neck. Control bite activated. Rex jerked, tried to push me away, but the poison was already working. 3 seconds later, he froze. Eyes glazed over. I gave a command. Kneel. Rex fell to his knees. The crowd gasped. I gave a second command. Say who your master is now. Rex opened his mouth. His voice was hoarse, but the words were clear. Black Snake. My master. I released him. Control bite lasted 10 minutes, but that was enough. Rex stood, swayed, looked at his hands, then at me. What? What did you do? Tara answered for me. He can control anyone he bites, temporarily or forever. Depends on how much he likes you. She swept her gaze across the crowd. Anyone else want to check? No one moved. Tara nodded. Good. Then listen to the order. From this moment, the guild doesn't work for the market. We work for him. She nodded at me. All beasts you catch will be brought here. He will decide who to keep, who to sell, who to... Mark, the alchemist raised his hand. And what do we get in return? Tara smirked. Life. Isn't that enough? The alchemist paled but said nothing. One of the trainers, an elderly man with a gray beard, stepped forward. I've been catching beasts for 30 years. I won't obey a creature. He spat on the floor. Tara sighed. Greg. Don't. Fuck you. He turned and walked toward the exit. The wolf growled. The bear rose on its hind legs, but I stopped them with a mental command. The old man reached the door, reached for the handle, and I activated a new skill that unlocked at the 9th level. Poison Breath, level 1. Effect. Exhale toxic fog, radius 5 meters, paralysis plus suffocation. I exhaled. Green smoke burst from my maw. It filled the space between me and the old man in a second. The old man inhaled, wheezed, fell to his knees, clutching his throat. The smoke dissipated. The old man lay on the floor, breathing heavily but alive. Tara approached him, crouched down. You only survive because he wants you to survive. She stood and swept her gaze across the others. Any more questions? Silence. She nodded. Then get to work. Rex, Darren, Liza. Go to the southern forest. Fire foxes live there. Need them alive? Greg, when you come to your senses, prepare cages. Alchemist list of all poisons and materials on the table by evening. The rest continue as usual, but now all catches go through me. People slowly dispersed. Some glanced at me warily, some just nodded silently, but everyone left. Tara approached me, sat on her haunches. Are you satisfied? I looked at her. The system showed a new window. Beast Hunters Guild, captured. Status under bearer's control. Tara size, 23 people. Assets, material storage, cages, market contacts. Income plus 10 evolution points per day. Passive income. I had captured not just a gang, I had captured a farm. Tara stood. I need to show you something. She walked to the far corner of the hall to a door locked with 3 locks. Opened it. Behind the door was a small room. In the middle of the room, a table. On the table, a map. Huge, drawn on the hide of some beast. Tara unrolled it. This is a map of the continent. We're here. She poked her finger at a point in the south. Cairo City. Border town. Small. But important because caravans from south to north pass through it. I looked at the map. The system highlighted names. Kingdom of Arlen North. Free Cities Center. Wildlands South. Beast Empire West. Tara ran her finger along the line connecting cities. Once every 3 months, the royal hunt passes through Cairo. It's an elite squad. They catch rare beasts for the king, for his menagerie. She looked at me. The next hunt is in 2 weeks. I understood where she was leading. They'll be looking for rare ones, Tara continued. And you're the rarest beast I've seen in my entire life. If they learn about you... The system highlighted in red. Warning, high-level threat detected. Royal hunt average level, 18 to 22. Commander level 25. Goal, capture rare creatures. Detection probability, 87% with current behavior. Level 25. I'm 9th. The difference is still huge, but I had 2 weeks. I looked at Tara, gave a mental command. Show me the evolution tree. Full. She frowned. I can't. The system blinked. And before me unfolded what I'd been waiting for. Evolution tree, full version. A huge tree of lines, branches, nodes. At the bottom, basic forms: Cobra, ranged poison; Viper, defense, counterattack; Grass Snake, stealth, speed; Python, strength, suffocation; Naga, control, parasitism. My current branch. Each branch split further: Cobra to Royal, Cobra to Cobra, Assassin to Cobra, Emperor Viper, to Armored Viper, to Spiked Viper, to Viper Guardian Naga, to Naga Parasite, to Naga Lord, to Naga King too. And between branches were hybrids: Basilisk, Cobra plus Viper; Stone Gaze Hydra, Cobra plus Python; multiple heads: Ice Serpent, Grass Snake plus Viper; Frost Breath Chimera, all branches. At the bottom was a price table: evolution cost, level 1 to 10, 10 points per level; level 11 to 20, 20 points per level; level 21 to 30, 50 points per level; hybrid, first, 30 points plus materials; hybrid, second, 60 points plus rare materials; hybrid, third, 100 points plus legendary materials. Skills basic, level 1 to 3, 5 points advanced, level 4 to 6, 15 points, elite, level 7 to 9, 40 points, legendary, level 10, 100 points. I looked at my current points. Evolution points, 16.1 level, 9. To reach 10th level needed another 10 points. To first serious hybrid, 30. To 20th level to match the Royal Hunt minimum, 200 points. I had 2 weeks and a whole city of beasts. Tara looked at me. "What will you do?" I gave an order. "Catch everyone, every beast, every creature. Everything that moves within 100 kilometers is mine." She nodded, understood, turned and left. I remained alone in the room, looked at the map, at the wild lands, at the Beast Empire, at all these places I hadn't seen yet. The system blinked with the last message of the day. New goal: reach level 20 in 14 days. Reward: failure, death. Honest, no deception. I would have smiled if I could, because for the first time in my new life I felt not fear, excitement. The door slammed. The slave entered the room. He carried a tray with meat, placed it before me. "Master, food." I looked at the meat, then at him. He was thin, weak, barely alive, but his eyes burned. "I'll be stronger," he said quietly. "I promise. I'll become such that I can kill anyone for you." The system blinked. Bearer, slave level, 4 to 5. Loyalty, 100%. Potential high. I touched his hand with my tongue. He smiled. For the first time ever. "Thank you, Master." He left. I ate the meat. Plus 2 evolution points. Shouts were heard outside. The hunters had returned, dragging cages. Inside, something alive squealed. Work had begun. 3 days later. The guild had turned into a hive. Every day new beasts: wolves, foxes, boars. Once they brought a young wyvern without wings, but with poison. I marked the strongest. Sold the rest through Terra. Points grew. Level 9 to 12 points, 64. I invested 30 in the first serious hybrid. Hybrid Hydra. Requirements: Hydra blood, have. Level 10 plus, have. 30 points, have. Effect: plus 2 heads, plus 50% poison damage, regeneration. My body shuddered. Scales burst. 2 new heads began growing from my shoulders, smaller than the main one, but with the same fangs. The pain was wild, but the result was worth it. 3 heads, 3 poison sources, 3 targets simultaneously. Tara, seeing me, whistled. "You're becoming a monster." I didn't answer, because she was right. A week before the hunt, a messenger came to the city. Tara met him at the gates. Returned pale. "They moved out early. We'll be here in 3 days." 3 days. I had 12th level. Needed 20th. Difference 8 levels. Cost minimum 160 points. I had 34. Tara looked at me. "What will we do?" I gave an order. "Open the dungeon." She frowned. "Are you serious?" "There. Open." She sighed. Led me to the lower level of the guild. There was another door, massive, iron, with seals. Behind this door, Tara said, are beasts we couldn't tame. Too dangerous, too vicious. We keep them on starvation rations so they don't break out. She looked at me. There are 23 creatures there, levels from 15 to 22. If you open this door, they'll tear you apart. I coiled around the handle, pulled. The door opened. From the darkness came the smell of blood, rot, and rage. Roar, howl, scraping of claws on stone. First crawled out a dark wolf the size of a cow with burning red eyes. Level 18. Behind it a stone bear. Level 20 behind it more and more and more. All hungry, all vicious. All looked at me like food. Tara backed away. You've gone insane. I activated all 3 heads, exhaled poison, and gave a mental command to the pack. Attack! Wolf, bear, lynx, slave all rushed forward. The slaughter began. But I wasn't the victim. I was the hunter. 2 hours later. The dungeon was quiet. Corpses lay on the floor, all 23. I lay among them, breathing heavily. My pack too. Half wounded. The slave lost an arm, but we survived. The system exploded with notifications. Kills times 23. Level 12 to 19. Points 312. 312. Enough for 20th level, enough for second hybrid. Enough to meet the royal hunt. I spent the points. Level 19 to 20. Hybrid, Chimera, all branches. Cost 100 points plus 5 legendary materials. I didn't have materials, but Tara brought them from storage, the last reserves of the guild for 30 years. Dragon blood, phoenix heart, leviathan scales, griffin claw, basilisk eye. I absorbed everything. The pain was unbearable. My body tore from within. Scales peeled in layers, heads fell off and grew back. Tail split, divided, multiplied. And when it all ended, I was no longer a snake. I was a monster. 5 heads, 4 tails, wings on my back. Scales black with golden pattern, size of a carriage. Tara fell to her knees. God, what are you? The system answered for me. Evolution complete. New form, Chimera Naga. Level 20. Strength, elite rank. I looked at the door upstairs. The royal hunt would come tomorrow, but now I was ready. Not to run, to hunt. The guild door burst open. A man in a white cloak with golden embroidery entered. Behind him, a squad of 20 warriors, all in armor, all with weapons. The commander removed his hood. Young, light hair, cold blue eyes, and on his neck was the same mark as Tara's, serpentine. He looked straight at me and smiled. Finally, he said in Russian, I found another one, reincarnated. He was also reincarnated, and he hadn't come to catch me, he'd come to take me. Time froze. I looked at the man in the white cloak. He looked at me, and between us hung an understanding that didn't need to be voiced. We were both not from this world. Tara stepped forward, covering me. Commander Elric, what an honor. But you're early, the hunt was supposed to start tomorrow. Elric didn't even look at her. His gaze was fixed on me. I didn't come for the hunt, he said. I came for him. He nodded at me. How long have you been here? A month? 2? I didn't answer. Couldn't. I had no voice. But the system gave me a new window. Detected reincarnated human, name Elric Weiss. Past life Danila Sokolov, Russia, 1998 to 2024. Level 25. Class Beastmaster. System Domination. Trait can subjugate any creatures below his level forever. Not for 10 minutes. Forever. This was a different system, more brutal. Elric stepped closer. I got here 3 years ago, he said calmly. Died from an overdose. Woke up in the body of an aristocrat infant. The system gave me a choice, become a mage, warrior, or tamer. He smirked. I chose tamer, because I understood a simple thing. In this world, strength is not magic. Strength is an army. He raised his hand. A red symbol flashed on his palm, a seal. My system is called Domination. I can subjugate any creature if its level is lower than mine. Without a contract. Without consent. Just a touch. He looked at me. You're level 20. I'm 25. Which means you're mine. Tara drew her whip. You won't touch him. Elric finally looked at her, saw the mark on her wrist, and laughed. You're already subjugated? By a snake? He shook his head. Weakling. Doesn't know how to properly use power. He snapped his fingers. One of his warriors stepped forward, but it wasn't human. It was a beast in armor, a huge wolf on hind legs with a sword in its paws. Level 22. Behind it came a second. A bear with an axe. Level 21, then third, fourth, fifth. All his warriors were beasts. Subjugated. Elric smirked. I don't keep humans in my army. Humans betray. Beasts don't. Not when you've completely erased their will. He stepped even closer. Surrender. I'll make you part of my army. You'll live. You'll be strong. Just won't be free. The system blinked red. Critical threat. Enemy Elric, level 25, plus 20 subordinates, level 18 to 23. Your forces, level 20 plus 5 bearers, level 4 to 15. Chance of victory, 8% recommendation, flee. 8%, almost zero, but I wasn't going to surrender. I activated all 5 heads, exhaled poison from 3, fire from the 4th, ice from the 5th. Elric raised his hand, and his beasts rushed forward. The wolf with sword lunged at me. I met it with my central head sank fangs into its throat. Control bite activated. The wolf jerked, but nothing happened. The system howled. Error. Target already under control of Domination system. Your control rejected. The foreign system was stronger. The wolf broke free and struck with the sword at my neck. Scales cracked. 45 HP. The bear with axe crashed into my pack. With one blow cut my lynx in half. Bearer killed, lynx. The slave threw himself at the bear with a sword, but it swatted him away like a fly. The slave flew to the wall. 30. HP bearer. My wolf and bear attacked Elric's beasts, but there were too many. 1 against 4, 2 against 8. We were losing. Elric stood aside, arms crossed. You're strong, he said. But you're alone. And I am Legion. He snapped his fingers. From behind him emerged another creature. Huge. Silver scales. Wings on its back. Dragon. Young, but still a dragon. Level 24. The system howled. Warning, elite boss. Damage, critical defense. Maximum chance of victory, 0.3% 0. I was dead. The dragon opened its maw. Inside glowed fire, not ordinary. White. Temperature at which stone melts. It exhaled. I tried to dodge, but the flame was faster. It covered me completely. Pain. Wild. My whole body burned, scales melted, 100 to 20 HP, 90 HP, 85 HP. Health fell like a stone. Health 340 over 650. I fell. Terra screamed, "Master!" She rushed toward me, but one of Elric's beasts grabbed her by the neck and threw her into a cage. My wolf and bear tried to cover me, but they were overwhelmed by numbers. Bearer killed. Bear. Bearer critically wounded. Wolf. Everything was collapsing. Elric approached closer, crouched nearby. You fought well, but this is the end. He extended his hand, touched my head. The red seal flashed on his palm, and I felt something biting into my mind, like a hook pulling my will out. The system howled. Warning, domination attempt. Resistance, 23%, 18%, 12%. I couldn't resist. His system was 5 levels higher. His seal tore through my defenses like paper. But then the system did something I didn't expect. It gave me a choice. Emergency protocol. Critical threat detected. Emergency dump available. Option 1. Accept defeat. Becomes subjugated. Effect: preservation of life, loss of freedom forever. Option 2. Activate soul molting. Effect: shed current body, transition to egg form, loss of all levels, preservation of memory and 10% points. Side effect: random teleportation within 500 kilometers radius. Second option, I'd lose everything, but remain myself. I chose the second. Soul molting activated. My body flared. Elric jerked back. What the? Scales began falling off in layers. Flesh melted, bones cracked, and from the center of my body burst light. Bright, blinding. Everyone closed their eyes, and when the light faded, I was gone. Only a small black egg lay on the floor, size of a fist, with a lightning pattern. Elric picked it up, frowned. What is this? The system gave one last impulse. Teleportation in 3, 2, 1. The egg flashed. Elric dropped it. The egg exploded with light, not destructively, but spatially. Air cracked. The egg vanished. Somewhere far away. Wildlands. Deep forest. The egg fell into moss. Quietly. No one around. Only trees. Only wind. The system rebooted. Molting complete. Form, egg, incubation, level 1. Evolution points, 31, 10% of 312 preserved. Bearers, lost, connection severed. Location, wildlands, cursed forest sector. I lost everything. The guild, the pack, Terra, 20 levels. But I was alive, and I was free. The system blinked with a new window. New goal, survive. Evolve, return. Reward? The egg lay in moss, slowly absorbing Earth's energy. Incubation began again. Incubation 0/100. But this time I knew what to do. I knew how to build a pack, how to take cities, how to kill the strong, and most importantly, I knew that somewhere out there in the north, an enemy awaited me. A reincarnated, who thinks he won. But he's wrong, because I'll return, stronger, angrier, and next time, I won't be the one who runs. I'll be the one who devours. 3 days later, the egg cracked. From the crack showed a small black head. Snake. Again. But in its eyes burned a fire that hadn't been there last time. Experience. Rage. Purpose. The system blinked. Hatching complete level, 1 form, black snake. Available memories of past skills can be restored for points. I crawled out of the egg. Looked around. The forest was dark, dense, full of sounds, growling, rustling, bird cries. This wasn't the safe guild, this was the wildlands, a place where only the strongest survive. Perfect. I crawled forward. The first beast appeared after 10 meters. A rat, size of a dog, level 3. It growled. I lunged. Bit. Venomous bite activated. The rat squealed and fell. Kill mutant rat, plus 4 evolution points. I ate it. Not because I was hungry, because every piece of meat is points, and points are strength. The system blinked. Function discovered, body memory. You can restore lost skills for points. Control bite, level 1. 15 points. Nest mark, level 1. 20 points. Poison breath, level 1. 25 points. I had 35 points. I restored the first. 15 points. Skill restored, control bite. Now I could make slaves again, temporary ones. But that would be enough. I crawled deeper into the forest. Somewhere ahead came howling. Wolves, a pack. I would have smiled, because a pack isn't an enemy. A pack is material. 2 weeks later, I was no longer a snake the size of a finger. I was a snake the size of a human. Level 8. Behind me walked a pack. 3 wolves, 2 bears, 1 lynx, and a human. Yes, a human. I found him in the forest, a hunter, wounded, dying. Bit him, marked him. Now he carried me on his shoulders and killed for me. We walked south, to where, according to rumors, a city was located. Not royal, free. A place where not laws rule, but strength. Perfect for one starting over. The system blinked. New location discovered, City of Fangs. Description, free city, governed by Beast Hunters Council. Population 12,000, average resident level 6 to 12, danger medium. I looked at the city in the distance, at the walls, at the towers, at the flags, and gave a mental command to the pack. We're going there, and we'll take it. Wolves growled. Bears rose on hind legs. The hunter raised his bow. We moved forward, because I was no longer a weak snake hiding in basements. I was a predator, and this world would soon learn. When a snake sheds its skin, it doesn't die. It becomes stronger. At the city gates, we were met by guards, 5, in leather armor, with spears. The chief, a big guy with an axe, looked at my hunter. Beast can't be brought into the city without... He fell silent, because he saw me. Coiled around the hunter's neck, 3 heads, black scales, eyes glowing yellow. The guard paled. What is that? I exhaled poison. Green fog enveloped all 5. They fell. Not dead. Paralyzed. I gave the hunter an order. Mark them. The hunter drew a knife, cut their wrists. I touched each with my tongue. Nest mark activated ×5. 25 points. The guards jerked, rose, looked at me, and dropped to their knees. "Master," they said in unison. The gates opened. We entered the city, and the system showed the last message. New goal, capture city of Fangs in 30 days. Reward, legendary skill. Failure, exile, 30 days. I smiled inside, because last time a week was enough for the guild. A city is just more meat. City of Fangs was unlike Caro. Caro was a border town, quiet, with stone houses and paved streets. City of Fangs was chaos. Wooden buildings thrown together hastily, narrow alleys where traders, thieves, mercenaries, and prostitutes crowded. Stench of garbage, blood, and cheap ale. Shouts, fights, laughter. Everything mixed into one roar. Free city. Place without a king. Place where the stronger rules. Perfect. We passed through the market square. People looked at us at a pack of beasts walking behind a hunter with a huge snake on his shoulders. Someone whispered. Someone spat. But no one approached, because my wolves growled and bears showed fangs. The hunter stopped at an inn, Fang and Claw, the largest building on the square. 3 floors, balconies, guards at the entrance, 2 big guys with maces. I gave a mental command. Enter. Ask who's in charge here. The hunter nodded and pushed the door. Inside was noisy. Tables packed with people. Mugs of ale, cards. A fight in the corner, 2 pummeling each other, while others placed bets. Behind the counter stood a bartender, a fat man with a greasy beard. The hunter approached him. "I need the owner." The bartender looked at him, then at me. I coiled around the hunter's neck, 3 heads looking in different directions. The bartender paled. You know who you want to talk to? With whoever rules the city." The bartender wiped sweat from his forehead. "2nd floor, last door. But I warn you, if you come with hostile intentions, you won't come out." The hunter nodded and headed for the stairs. We climbed. The corridor was narrow, dark. At the end, a door bound with iron. The hunter pushed it. The door opened. The room was large. In the middle, a table. Behind the table sat a man. No, not a man. He looked like a man, tall, broad-shouldered, in expensive clothes, with rings on his fingers. But the smell wasn't human. Bestial. The system blinked. Target detected. Name, Garrett Fang. Race, werewolf, wolf. Level, 17 class, crime boss. Trait, regeneration, beast form, control over local gang, werewolf. He looked at us and smirked. A snake in my city. Interesting. His voice was low, growling. He stood, came closer, leaned down, examining me. 3 heads, rare creature. How much will they give for you at the market? I exhaled poison. Green fog hid his face. Garrett recoiled, coughed, but didn't fall. The system showed, error, target has poison immunity, partial. Garrett wiped his face and growled. His body began changing. Muscles swelled, bones crunched, face elongated, fangs grew, fur broke through skin. 3 seconds later, before us stood a werewolf wolf, 2.5 meters tall with claws as long as a palm. Form changed, beast, level 19. He growled, and I understood. Fighting him head-on is suicide. But I wasn't planning to. I gave the hunter an order. Run. The hunter bolted for the door. Garrett lunged after him, but I jumped from the hunter's shoulders and coiled around the werewolf's leg, bit with all 3 heads. Venomous bite ×3 activated. Control bite activated. Triple dose of poison flowed into his blood. Garrett howled, jerked, grabbed me with claws and hurled me at the wall. I crashed into wood. 60 HP. But the poison was already working. Garrett swayed, fell to his knees, his vision blurred. The system blinked. Target poisoned, paralysis in 5 seconds. But he was stronger than ordinary ones. Regeneration worked. Poison burned out from within. Paralysis, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, cancelled. He stood, growled. But I had already given the command to the pack waiting below. Attack! The door burst open. 3 wolves, 2 bears, and a lynx burst into the room. Garrett turned. My wolf jumped on his back. Bear struck with paw in his side. Lynx latched onto throat. Garrett roared, tore, bit. One of my wolves fell with torn side. Bearer critically wounded. But the others didn't retreat. I ordered the hunter, Shoot the eye! The hunter drew the bowstring, shot. Arrow pierced Garrett's left eye. The werewolf howled and fell to his knees. I lunged again, bit the neck. All 3 heads latched onto one spot. Control bite times 3 activated simultaneously. Triple poison, triple control. Garrett froze, his roar subsided, eyes clouded. And the system confirmed, control bite, success. Duration, 10 minutes. I gave the first command. Calm down. Garrett jerked, but his body obeyed. He lowered to the floor, breathing evened out. Second command, return to human form. His body cracked again. Fur disappeared, claws retracted. A minute later, he was human again. Naked, bloody, with a pierced eye, but alive. I crawled to him, touched his hand with my tongue. Activated nest mark. 5 points. The mark fell on his wrist, black, serpentine. Garrett jerked, screamed. His scream wasn't from pain, it was from loss, because the mark devoured his will. When he opened his eyes, there was no more rage in them, only emptiness and submission. He knelt. Master, he wheezed. The system blinked. Bearer acquired Garrett, level 17. Loyalty, 100% abilities. Regeneration, beast form, criminal connections. Income plus 15 points per day. 15 points per day. Because he controlled the entire city, his gang, his business, his influence. All of it now mine. I gave him an order. Gather all the bosses, say you have a new partner. Garrett nodded, stood, dressed, left the room. I remained with my pack. The wounded wolf had to be finished, he wouldn't survive. But the rest were intact. The system blinked. Level increased 8 to 9. Received 12 points. Total points 22. Not enough for major evolution, but enough for a skill. I opened the menu. Available skills. Multiple bite, level 1. All heads attack one target simultaneously, damage times 315 points. Regeneration, level 1. Plus 5 HP per second in combat 20 points. Tail splitting, level 2. Plus 2 tails, increase speed 10 points. I chose the first. 15 points. Skill acquired, multiple bite. Now, if all 3 heads bite simultaneously, damage triples. Perfect for large targets. Garrett returned an hour later. Behind him walked 10 people, gang bosses, all dirty, ragged, dangerous. Killers, thieves, smugglers. They entered the room and stared at me. One of them, a skinny type with a knife at his belt, smirked. Garrett, have you lost your mind? You gathered us for a snake? Garrett looked at him silently, then nodded at me. I gave the command. Garrett transformed into a werewolf. In 2 seconds, grabbed the skinny one by the throat, lifted him in the air. This is my master, he growled. And yours too. He threw the skinny one on the floor. He coughed, clutching his neck. The others froze. Garrett swept them with his gaze. Who's against? No one answered. Garrett nodded. Then listen. From this moment, the city works for him. All collections, all income, all information goes through me, and I pass it to him. He showed the mark on his wrist. Who disagrees can leave, but then you're enemies. And I kill enemies. Silence. Then one of the bosses, an old man with a gray beard, chuckled. And what do we get in return? Garrett looked at me. I gave him a mental answer. Garrett nodded. Protection, strength, and a share in the new order. The old man thought. Nodded. Deal. The others agreed too. One after another. Because there was no alternative. Garrett was the strongest in the city. And now he was mine. Which meant the city was mine too. 3 days later, City of Fangs worked like clockwork. Every boss brought tribute money, information, captured beasts. Garrett collected everything and passed it to me. I marked new beasts. The system gave points. Level 9 to 11 points, 67. I invested them in evolution. Restored old skills, poison breath, level 1. 25 points. Stone gaze, level 1. 30 points. Now I could again exhale poison and turn enemies to stone. Not forever, only for 10 seconds. But that would be enough. I grew. Fast. Too fast. And it attracted attention. 7th day. Garrett entered my room. I had settled in his office, on a pile of hides. He was pale. Master. Bad news. I raised my head. He handed me a letter. I couldn't read the local language, but the system translated. Royal hunt moving south. Target. Wildlands. Commander Elric Weiss, expected arrival at City of Fangs in 7 days. Elric. He's coming here. Garrett looked at me. What will we do? The system showed the calculation. Elric, level 25, plus army, 20 beasts, level 18 to 24. Your forces, level 11 plus 15 bearers, level 4 to 17. Chance of victory, 14%, 14%. Better than 8, but still low. I looked at the map Garrett unrolled on the table. City of Fangs was surrounded by forest on 3 sides, on the 4th swamps. If we fight here, we'll lose, but if we lure him into a trap, I gave Garrett an order. Gather all beasts in the city, all you can. Promise them freedom if they help me. Garrett frowned. You want to free them? Temporarily. After the battle, I'll decide who to keep. He nodded. Left. 2 days later, he returned with results. 47 beasts. Wolves, bears, lynxes, boars, 1 young griffin. Levels from 5 to 14. Not an army, but a mob. Enough to slow down Elric. I marked the strongest. 30 points. New bearers, 6. The system blinked. Army assembled. Total size, 53 creatures. Average level, 9 commander, Garrett, level 17. Not enough, but it's all I have. I gave the last order. Prepare traps in the forest, pits, nets, poison, and water. We won't fight fair. Because fairness is for fools, and I want to survive. Day of Elric's arrival. His army appeared at dawn. 20 beasts, all in armor, all with weapons, all under his control. Elric walked in front, in a white cloak. His dragon flew above him. He stopped at the city gates, looked at the walls, smiled. I know you're here, Snake. I feel your mark. His voice was loud, confident. Come out, or I'll burn this city to the ground. I didn't come out. I gave the signal. From the forest burst my beasts. 53 against 20. Elric frowned, then laughed. You think you'll win with numbers? He snapped his fingers. His dragon exhaled fire. White flame covered the first wave of my beasts. 5 burned instantly. Bearers killed times 5. But the rest didn't stop. They attacked from different sides, circled, bit, tore. Elric's beasts were stronger, but there were fewer of them, and they didn't know the forest. One of his wolves fell into a pit with stakes. Enemy killed. The second stepped on a net. It snapped shut, lifting him into the air. Garrett in werewolf form crashed into their formation, tore the throat of one bear. Enemy killed. Elric stood aside watching. His face no longer smiled. He understood. This wasn't an easy hunt. This was war. He raised his hand. The red seal flashed. Enough games. He stepped forward and touched the ground. The seal spread across the ground like blood. All my beasts standing on it froze. Domination activated. 10 of my beasts jerked. The marks on them cracked and broke. They turned, looked at me, and growled. Elric took them. Through his system, he smiled. Your marks are weak, Snake. My system is stronger. He snapped his fingers. 10 of my former bearers turned and attacked their own. Chaos. My beasts fought each other. Elric walked forward, calmly touching each beast, taking them from me, one after another. Bearer lost. Bearer lost. Bearer lost. I was losing the army, fast. Garrett growled and rushed at Elric, but the dragon intercepted him, grabbed him with claws, threw him into a tree. Bearer critically wounded. Elric reached the gates, looked at me. I sat on the wall, all 3 heads tracking him. Last chance, he said. Surrender. I didn't answer, but gave the last order. Garrett, blow up the warehouse. In the city was a warehouse with gunpowder contraband that Garrett kept for a rainy day. Garrett, bleeding, crawled to the warehouse. Elric saw. His eyes widened. You wouldn't dare. Garrett struck a stone against the fuse. Explosion. Huge. The warehouse exploded, and fire spread through the streets. Half the city caught fire. Elric's beasts were in the center of the blast. Enemies killed times 7. Elric survived. His dragon shielded him with wings, but his army was halved. He looked at the ruins, then at me. And for the first time, I saw in his eyes not confidence. Rage. You, he hissed. You destroyed an entire city for victory? Yes, because I'm not a hero. I survived. Elric raised his hand. His dragon took flight, gained altitude, and exhaled white flame right at me. I lunged down, but the fire was too fast. It covered the wall. I would have burned. But at the last moment, someone shielded me. Garrett. He jumped, took the hit himself. His body charred instantly. He fell. Dead. Bearer killed Garrett. I looked at his corpse, at the ash, and something inside me broke. Not from grief, from anger. The system blinked red. Critical condition. Emergency evolution activated. Skill available, Naga's Rage. My body flared, scales blackened, eyes burned red. New heads began growing from my back. 3, 4, 5, 7 heads. I became larger, stronger, more terrifying. Temporary evolution, Hydra of Rage. Level 11 to 15, temporary. Duration, 5 minutes. I roared with all 7 heads and lunged at Elric. The battle continues. 7 heads, 7 maws full of poison and rage. I crashed into Elric like an avalanche. He tried to dodge, but I was faster. Rage gave not only strength, but speed. First head grabbed his arm, second his leg, third bit into his shoulder. Multiple bite times, 7 activated. Poison flowed into his blood in streams. Elric screamed, but his system resisted. Target, immunity to control, domination system. Poison, partially neutralized. He didn't fall, instead his body flashed with red light. The seal on his palm grew, covered his entire arm, crawled across his body like something alive. You think you're the only one who can evolve? He grabbed one of my heads with bare hands, squeezed. 40 HP. The head burst. Pain seared all other heads, but I didn't let go. The remaining 6 heads tightened their grip. Elric roared, tried to break free, but my body's weight pinned him to the ground. His dragon tried to help, lunged from above, exhaled fire. White flame struck my back. 90 HP down, 85 HP. Scales melted, but I held on. One of my heads lunged at the dragon, grabbed its wing, yanked down. The dragon crashed to the ground. Enemy downed. I bit into its neck with all remaining heads. Multiple bite times 6. The dragon shrieked. Elric screamed, "No, let him go!" But it was too late. Poison burned the dragon from within, its body convulsed, eyes dimmed. It died. Enemy killed. Young dragon, level 24. Received plus 50 evolution points. Elric froze. Looked at the dragon's corpse, then at me. In his eyes was not rage, despair. You killed him. The dragon was his first bearer, the strongest, most loyal. Now it was dead. Elric raised his hand. The red seal flashed brighter than ever. Then I'll take everything from you. He struck his palm against the ground. The seal spread across the entire city. A wave of red light passed through streets, walls, forest. And all my bearers, all of them froze. Domination, mass capture. All marks on their bodies flashed, cracked, and began breaking, one after another. Bearer lost, wolf. Bearer lost, bear. Bearer lost, lynx. Bearer lost, hunter. All, he took them all. My beasts turned, looked at me, growled, and attacked. 50 beasts against me alone. Elric stood, swaying, bleeding, but smiling. You lost, Snake. Your army is now mine. He was right. I was alone, against his new army, against him. Naga's rage gave strength, but not infinite. The timer ticked. Naga's rage, 2 minutes remaining. When time runs out, I'll return to 11th level and die. The beasts surrounded me. Elric stepped forward, raising his hand for the final strike. Goodbye, Snake. You were a worthy opponent. He lowered his hand, and at that moment, the ground shook. Everyone froze. From the forest came a roar. Not bestial, not human, ancient. Trees cracked. 1, 2, 3. They fell like matchsticks, and from behind them emerged it. A creature the size of a house. Lion's body, eagle's wings, human head, But the face wasn't human too perfect, too cold. Sphinx, the system howled. Warning, legendary creature. Name, level 30. Class, trait, level 30. Higher than Elric, higher than me, higher than everyone. The Sphinx stopped, looked at us. Its eyes were golden, glowing. Then it spoke. The voice was female, soft, but with a metallic echo. Two reincarnated in one place. How interesting. Elric paled. You know? The Sphinx smirked strange sight on a beast's muzzle. Of course, I'm also reincarnated. Silence. Absolute. Elric looked at her like at a ghost. I froze too. Third reincarnated, but not human, not beast, monster. The Sphinx stepped closer. My name was Anna. Anna Levina. Moscow, 1992 to 2019. Died of cancer. She looked at her body. Woke up here in a Sphinx's body 300 years ago. 300. Elric exhaled. You've been here that long? Yes. She turned her head to me. And you, Snake? How long? A month? 2? I couldn't answer, but she understood from my silence. Newbie. She smirked. And you, Elric? 3 years, right? Elric slowly nodded. How do you... I observe. All reincarnated who come here, there have been many. Most died in the first year. She sat like a cat, huge and graceful. But you two are interesting. You grow fast. Too fast. And that attracted attention. Elric frowned. Whose attention? The Sphinx looked at the sky. Theirs. The sky darkened. Not night, not clouds. Shadow. A huge shadow covered the city like a palm. And from that shadow descended a creature. Black. Formless. With hundreds of eyes. The system didn't show its parameters. Only one word. Error creature outside system. The Sphinx stood. Here they are. World Guardians. Those who kill reincarnated if they become too dangerous. Elric backed away. What is that? Death. The Sphinx looked at both of us. You have two choices, fight together or die separately. The creature from Shadow descended to the ground. All beasts, both mine and Elric's, scattered in terror. Even under system control, fear was stronger. Elric looked at me. I looked at him. We hated each other. But now we had a common enemy. Elric gritted his teeth. Fine. Temporary truce. He canceled Domination. My bearers returned to me. Marks restored. Bearers returned times 40. I nodded with one head. Truce. Until the battle ends. The Sphinx smiled. Then let's begin. She took flight. Wings spread, and she lunged at the shadow creature. Claws dug into its body, but the shadow simply parted. Claws passed through, dealing no damage. The creature released a tentacle. Black, sticky, fast, it wrapped around the Sphinx's wing. Pulled down, the Sphinx crashed to the ground. Allie wounded. Elric shouted a command. Everyone, attack! His beasts and mine rushed forward. 40 beasts against one monster, but the monster wasn't alone. From its body burst new tentacles. Dozens, hundreds. They grabbed beasts, lifted them into the air, squeezed. Bearer killed. Bearer killed. Bearer killed. Beasts died in batches. I lunged forward. All 6 heads attacked simultaneously, bit into the creature's body. Multiple bite times 6. Poison flowed into Shadow, but nothing happened. Error. Target has no blood. It had no blood, no flesh, only shadow. Elric tried to subjugate it. The red seal flashed, but bounced off like from a wall. Domination. Rejected. Our systems didn't work. The Sphinx stood, limping. You can't kill it with ordinary methods. Then how? Elric shouted. The Sphinx looked at me. You, Snake. Do you have the stone gaze skill? I nodded. Use it. Shadow fears materialization. If you turn part of it to stone, it becomes vulnerable. I activated the gaze. All 6 heads stared at the creature. Eyes glowed yellow. Stone gaze times 6 activated. Part of the shadow froze. Blackened, hardened, turned to stone. The creature howled. Soundlessly, but everyone felt it. A wave of pain passed through the air. Elric didn't miss the chance. Hit the stone. His beast pounced on the petrified part. Tore, bit, broke. Stone cracked. The creature jerked, part of its body fell off. Enemy wounded. But it didn't die. Instead, it divided. One creature became two. Both smaller, but both alive. The Sphinx cursed. It's dividing! Need to kill the core? Where's the core? Elric shouted. In the center! Where there are the most eyes. I looked. Indeed, in the center of the creature's body was a cluster of eyes. Hundreds. All looking in different directions. There. I need to get there. But how? I was large. Slow. Naga's rage was ending. Remaining 30 seconds. In half a minute, I'd become weak. Need to hurry. I gave the command to all bearers. Clear the path. They understood. All 40 beasts rushed forward, distracted, bit, tore, died, but cleared the way. Elric joined. His beasts attacked from another side. The Sphinx took flight and struck with claws from above. The creature was surrounded. I lunged forward, right to the center. Tentacles grabbed me, squeezed. 70 HP, 65 HP. But I didn't stop. All 6 heads stretched forward, to the core, to the cluster of eyes. I bit, with all heads. Multiple bite times 6, stone gaze times 6, poison and stone simultaneously. The creature's eyes flashed, then dimmed. One after another, its body trembled, began crumbling. Shadow disappeared. Tentacles released me, I fell to the ground. The creature collapsed, fell apart, and dissolved, like smoke. The system blinked. Enemy killed, World Guardian. Received 200 evolution points. Level 11 to 16. Silence. Everyone looked at the place where the shadow had been. Nothing remained. Elric fell to his knees, breathing heavily. The Sphinx landed, limping. I lay on the ground, feeling rage leaving, body shrinking, heads disappearing. A minute later, I had 3 heads again, but the level remained. 16th. Elric looked at me, then at the Sphinx. What was that? The Sphinx sat. Guardian. There are many. They hunt reincarnated who disrupt the world's balance. Balance? This world has its rules. Reincarnated are anomalies. If you grow too fast, become too strong. Guardians come. She looked at me. You killed one, but others will come. Stronger. Elric paled. So, we're doomed? The Sphinx shook her head. No, there's a way. Need to become so strong that Guardians can't kill you. Or find a way to leave this world. Silence. Elric looked at me. Is the truce over? I looked at him. We were both exhausted. We both lost almost everything. Fighting now is foolish. I nodded. Truce continues. For now. Elric stood. Then until we meet, Snake. He turned and left. His remaining beasts followed him. I remained with the Sphinx. She looked at me. You have potential, but you're too young. Come to me when you reach level 25. I'll teach you to survive. She took flight and vanished in the sky. I remained alone, in the middle of the burned city, amid corpses. But I was alive, and I was stronger. The system blinked. New goal, reach level 25. New goal, find way to leave this world. Reward? I looked north, where Elric was, then south, where the Sphinx disappeared, and made myself a promise I'll become the strongest. Not for glory, not for power, for freedom.